So, the sun has set on George Herbert Walker Bush, the 41st President of the United States. There has been, understandably, an outpouring of grief from his friends and family and many voices in the media.
He pursued a life of extraordinary service to America.
Such a man, so thoroughly decent, so moderate in his beliefs.
Model of what a public servant should be.
However, it seems that the media is glossing over certain aspects of Bush's legacy. It follows a pattern similar to the death of John McCain, where the media heaps praise onto an individual and highlights one particular character quality above all else: opposition to Donald Trump.
Publicly contentious relationship between Donald Trump and George H.W. Bush.
Didn't vote for him in 2016.
He said that he thought Donald Trump had, quote, a certain ego. And then he told you point blank.
He's a blowhard. Oh. He's a blowhard.
He was an oil tycoon and a CIA chief who eventually became president. His record wasn't spotless. Now, we all know that Donald Trump never apologizes. Well, after the United States shot down an Iranian airliner and killed 290 civilians, we'll remember this classic Trump-esque line that we heard from President Bush.
I'll never apologize for the United States of America. Ever. I don't care what the facts are.
Now, the media hails the first war on Iraq as one of his shining moments.
As was the case in the 1930s, we see in Saddam Hussein an aggressive dictator threatening his neighbors.
Now, Bush compared Saddam Hussein to Adolf Hitler. He said that the bombs had to fall. As a result of the Gulf War, thousands of civilians died. He was also a big supporter of another war, that being the war on drugs.
This is crack cocaine, seized a few days ago by drug enforcement agents in a park just across the street from the White House.
Well, it turns out that the Drug Enforcement Agency actually lured the dealer to the White House so that this point could be made. Now, Bush called for harsher penalties, lock them up, longer prison sentences. 30 years later, we've got the biggest prison population in the world in the United States, but the drug crisis has spiraled out of control. H.W. died shortly after the rise of Me Too, and many women came forward at that time saying that he had certain proclivities.
He reached his hand around and said to the group, do you know who my favorite magician is? And we all said, no, who? And he said, David Copperfield. And at that moment, I felt him grab my behind.
Now, the former president acknowledged that some of these allegations were true, but he said that the, quote, patting of women's rears was intended to be good-natured. So, American mainstream media has mourned the passing of George Herbert Walker Bush, much like it mourns the passing of other former leaders. However, it seems that American media has a bit of a selective memory, especially if you don't like Donald Trump. Caleb Maupin, RT, New York.